and over a period of 3 days or 4 days or whatever, you put those pieces of paper up on the wall, and the community says, we want this, we'd like this, how about moving this over here? It seems that the missing voice in the process is the community as part of and integral to the community process, which from all I've had the opportunity to come and learn is that is really the most successful planning that occurs, and it eliminates a lot of the kind of questions that we hear tonight and the unfortunate suspicions. Has any thought been given to doing that kind of a planning process, bottoms up, everybody at the table, and spending some real serious time on it?
I'll comment multiple part answer, of course. I know that Dave has been working extensively with the different user groups out there. So the county's part, the motorsports, et cetera, that's, they're engaged and they will continue to be engaged. When you go to develop a piece of property, having done it on both sides, having done it from a public side and having done it from a private side, you really need something first to bring to the community and say, you just don't put a blank slate up and say, okay, what do you guys want? You really need to form and be able to work together towards, the landowner has particular goals that they have to meet. The community has particular needs that they have to meet. And then, but you have to start from not an entirely blank slate. You have to start with a basic concept of, this is where we need to go, community. Can you help us do that? So, so that it's sort of there's a lot of work that's done beforehand before coming to the community, and I would say that the.
So Will, I think the question though, if I can, is being that the county has this stake in the process, is the county going to encourage DHHL to work with the community in this sort of open charrette-based format to get an end result that the community wants?
I don't know what form it'll take, but yes, we're encouraging everybody to work with the community.
That sounds encouraging.
We always do that.
We have time for this question and one other question after that.
What I don't understand is the water on Maui. And people are always beating me over the head saying conserve water. And then you're telling me they can put this huge light industrial thing in, and you say they'll pay for the pipe. Why should we put any water in the pipe? Do we have to put the water in the pipe? And why is it that we can do all this development, another 1,500 houses, and you're telling me to conserve water? Or maybe not you, but I mean in general.
Thank you. I was going to clarify that.
And I just don't get that.
Yes, it's Dave Taylor telling you to conserve water, not myself. So that's a huge issue. That's admittedly, that's probably the #1 issue. And if that isn't resolved, nobody's going to be able to build out there, with the exception of course, our motorsports park. Yeah. So.
Okay, our last question for the evening.
Last question. Am I on?
You're on.
Okay.
Make it a good one.
Hey, we are Big Island people, and we moved here because the Big Island got destroyed by traffic, and now Big Island there's houses empty, half finished everywhere because of the traffic. Now, they never complained about the water over there so much, but I see a dozer pulled up right across from our track where we live. And they're going to put this monstrous thing over there, and it's going to make our property values go down even worse. What are we going to do about this? You can't. What's the thinking here? They have no water for the high school, but they have water for how many 700,000 square feet?
So I think the traffic question's interesting.
And the traffic, yes.
We maybe haven't addressed, because it does seem that if we talk to anybody from the Public Works Department, they mostly tell us there's not really enough funds to complete any of these major state new highway projects in South Maui. We're never going to see, you know, it's going to be years and years and years before we get an upcountry road. It's going to be years and years and years before we get a bypass roads. We're kind of, maybe we can get some of the north-south collector road. So we're kind of limited to the highways that we have right now. And then we're going to essentially take a road like the Mokulele, put development on one side of it. I imagine if it's going to be commercial development, a lot of stoplights there. At what point are we thinking about the overall traffic impacts, especially on the road that's designed as a highway?
Okay, well, no, I'm not clear on the question that you're asking.
If we're not going to increase the capacity of the roadways we have, and what we're hearing from Public Works generally is there isn't the funding to do that. You know, we're planning all in the general plan to see this big expansion of growth in South Maui, this big potentially commercial project on the Mokulele. So you're gonna, at what point do the Mokulele and Pu'unene have failing sections of roadways, and is there anything that planning department is doing about that?
Yeah, I can't say specifically. I know as a part of the Maui Island plan, there are being new roadways planned as a part of that. Those are supposed to be going in concurrent with development. My understanding is from and I know you're referring to the commercial development, the Pu'unene Promenade. I understand there's some improvements they must do and meet Department of Transportation.
Improvement like traffic lights improvements?
I'm not sure what. I know that there are certain things which have to be addressed with Department of Transportation, and that, you know, that has to be approved by them. So past that, I'm not knowledgeable if there's supposed to be a traffic light or what. My understanding is there's not. So
fair enough. Okay, so
and I do know that the county is pursuing the north-south collector, certain portions of it. So there is that kind of relief coming up. I didn't listen in to the budget sessions on what Public Works is planning on. I know that in the Planning Commission a week ago, we were talking about doing the improvements to north-south collector between Kihei and going north. I'm forgetting exactly where it goes, through Kihei, Ialonui. And so those things are ongoing, and the county is making those efforts. So it's not like, you know, anybody's ignoring the needs of South Maui.
I do understand that. It seems like maybe based on the amount of new traffic being generated, though, we're going to see a lot more congestion because we're not being able to build any major new roadways. And I understand that's not something that you can fix as, you know, the head of the planning department for a year so far, and you know, obviously there's a lot more history there. But sure. Anyway, we are at a time, so I did want to thank both of our presenters, the planning department, Will and David. Thank you so much for coming out. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We appreciate you sticking around to answer questions afterwards.
Sure.
We appreciate that. And Steve is a few closing announcements.
We'll have Will and Kyle will be hanging out for questions afterward, as well as Don. Let's see here. Our next meeting, we appreciate anybody that is able to bring canned food goods. If you weren't able to, we'll have the donation bin here next month, so please bring those. Our next meeting is on June 19th. We'll be examining the Pu'unene Promenade project. And then our candidate forum will be changed. We'll be doing it at Akaku July 24th and 25th. And there's a handout regarding smart meters up front, so I forgot.